Grab your woman, it's a Louie Louie time.
Tonight on Sports at 11, the reunion continues. From the Casper Energy Studio in Calgary, the four neat guys.
Well, the live guests, though, I mean, yeah, we had.
They were great.
Out, but Grant, the live guests were a big part of our show. And remember, for a long time, for a couple of years there, I think we did live studio audiences where we'd bring in big name guests. I remember bringing in, for instance, Doug Gilmore and Rick Wamsley. They came in, and we had a live studio audience, and people would have to book tickets to come and watch Sports at 11. And for a couple of years there, those tickets were in high demand, and those live studio audience shows, Grant, were a lot of fun. They were good shows.
Yeah, they were good shows. And I remember we were proud of those shows, too, because what sports show was bringing in live guests? Well, I mean, live audience, and we were doing that. And Gilmore and Walmsley were good. I was like Phil Donahue type guy running around the stands, the audience, getting them to ask questions to Doug Gilmore and Walmsley. They were really good. We had a couple of Stampeders. I forget who they were, but they were good as well, too. So, yeah, I'm proud of those shows. You know, just thinking about guests. One time I had Nadia Comaneci. Remember the Romanian gymnast? She was
Number
on.
10.
Number 10. Yes, that's right. The perfect 10.
Perfect 10.
She was on. But what I kind of forgot in the middle of the interview was that she was there because she was pushing underwear. I think she was working for Jockey Underwear, you know, promoting underwear, even for guys. So she gave me some. I was quite actually. I have some of the underwear on right now, guys.
Hey, thank you, Nadia. Thank you.
Yeah. That was fun. But not all the shows worked, right? We did some shows that fell flat.
Really?
One show, at least we made an attempt. But one show was New Year's Eve, 1994. I think it was a big production. Mike and Mike were in the studio. I was all over the city doing various New Year's Eve locations. Things were going on. And the one place I ended up was at the CFCN New Year's Eve skating party or whatever it was called at Olympic Plaza. Part of our shtick that night, I kidnapped Daryl Jans. Now, if I tried to explain somebody someday now what our sports show is all about, oh yeah, we did some highlights, and one time I pretended I kidnapped the other guy's news director or news anchor. But you remember that show, guys? I mean, I know you two, we weren't happy with the result of the New Year's Eve show, but that was a fun part. That was just what's that?
I said, in my opinion, it was the worst Sports at 11 show ever. In fact, I don't even know if a copy of that tape exists because
I've seen it.
You know why it was bad? Who produced it? Larry Day.
But don't you think it's kind of funny that we had the idea, the audacity to kidnap a news anchor from another station? Like, where did that come from? Well, and we tried to parallel the O.J. Simpson because I had a white Pathfinder, he had a white Bronco, and we had shots of us going down Memorial back to the station. And oh man, that was funny. I know back at the station, you guys were having all kinds of things going on, but I thought kidnapping Daryl Jans was kind of a strange. Even right now, we all shake our head. Did we really do that?
Well, it started out with great intentions. We were going to honor the top 10 athletes in Calgary that year. And so we invited all of these big name athletes to a New Year's Eve Sports at 11 extravaganza special.
Good idea.
And had the who's who of sports there. I remember Theron Fleury was there, Flutie was there, Owen Hart was there. So it was a high caliber group of people, and they brought their wives. Well, we brought them into the studio, and all of these people thought, oh, great, a New Year's Eve party. And so they thought, well, we're probably going to have a little filet mignon. We're going to have some champagne. As you mentioned, Larry was the executive producer, but he didn't want to spend a lot of money on this thing. So here these high-profile athletes come into the studio, and what do we serve them? Co-op discount cola. Remember those white, gummy, sticky buns that you shove the roast beef in the roof of your mouth? That was the spread for all these people. So Mike, as the night went on, and you're right, Grant, you talked about Longsborough and I hosting. As the night went on, all of these big name athletes and their wives and significant others and all the other people that we invited, they slowly started to slink out of the studio. And at the commercial break, the crew had to keep pushing the tables together to make it look like there were more people there. And you know, the only athlete who stayed for the whole night, and I'll never forget this, it was Owen Hart and his wife Martha. They were the only ones who stayed for the, and I'll never forget that. And everybody knows the story later. Owen, who was a great guy, lost his life in that tragic wrestling incident. But that's my big memory of that night. It was so embarrassing that these people slunk out looking for a much better party than we were giving them.
Well, Larry had a budget of $25. And I'm sure he pocketed half of that.
You remember what happened at the end of the night too, Mike, with Teddy from Boston Pizza, who was one of our big sponsors on Sports 11?
Oh, what happened?
He had a plan that, do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Well, he had hatched a plan that he was going to propose to his girlfriend on our Sports 11 New Year's Eve extravaganza. So he said to us, keep it a secret. And at the end of the night, I'm going to get down on one knee and I'm going to propose to my girl. So we thought, oh, this would be a great way to end the show. So we began the New Year's Eve countdown, and we had the balloons up there with the netting, and the balloons were supposed to come down as we did the countdown. Well, for one thing, the balloons wouldn't come down. So there's Scotty Slade, the film director, climbing up with this little jackknife, trying to get the balloons down, and there'd be one balloon come down and another balloon come down. And then Teddy gets on his knee to do the big proposal, the crescendo of the show. We didn't tell Grant about it, so now Grant's back trying to tell us about his adventures with Daryl Jans. I think Grant thought that Teddy had lost his mind or was drunk. So Teddy's trying to propose to his girlfriend, and Grant's trying to push him out of the way and talk over him, trying to cover up drunk old Teddy doing whatever he was doing. So that was the denouement of that show. Oh, what a night it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's good memories.